Welcome to... You're gonna say it.
Oh. Hello.
Welcome to...
Between Two Realtors.
I'm one realtor.
I'm a second realtor.
Between two realtors.
The space between.
More specifically, my name is Savannah.
I'm Zack.
We are both brokers at Pioneer Realty Group in Chicago.
And we're here to educate and entertain.
The two reasons you probably listen to podcasts, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just sat down and I brought coffee.
All right, well, I brought my brain and you brought yours, and we're going to talk about some things that have to do with the Chicago leasing market, specifically today, correct?
Cool. Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. Well, let's first talk about what rentals are in Chicago. How does it work?
So I guess just should we talk about how Chicago is different though than every other market in the country though?
Yeah, we can do that too.
Okay.
I think it's giving an overview though of someone who's never rented here before, pretty much our job and what we do and how we can make it easier, etc.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm originally from St. Louis. Please don't hate me, everyone. Please still subscribe, follow, all that kind of jazz.
It's fine. I am a Chicago through and through fan. Yeah. We can just ignore him.
Just like the podcast because she's on it. Anyways, so I'm from St. Louis. Transplant 7 years ago. Lived in multiple apartments in the city in St. Louis, but completely different market, right? In that market, you go on Google, you look up, you find 5 places, you go see them all, you put in applications for free. It's like I'm getting waffle fries. And then it's over, you pick the best one, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and that's it. Here, all of a sudden, I get dropped into the city, I'm told to be here in 30 days kind of thing, all that sort of jazz, and you go Google, and then there's apartments.com, and there's Trulia, and there's Zillow, and Domu. I don't even know what Domu stands for at the time, and then there's
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
all these different platforms where you can find different rentals and then all of these different fees. It's just all these different people. Are you an owner? Are you a realtor? It's very overwhelming for someone who's never.
You can literally rent a room within a larger apartment from people. You don't do that in St. Louis. It's just weird.
Yeah, I feel it's very common in bigger cities like New York, Chicago, LA.
So I guess just first off, the market is completely different. Probably one of only 3 or 4 maybe in the entire country that are like this, that are at this level of volume and everything. So I guess just with that, how do you, Savannah, because I had a hard time with this as a first time renter in the city, how do you get all those different options into one
bucket?
Yeah.
So essentially that's kind of where you and I fall into play, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing this whole time.
That's our job. So essentially we have access to all these platforms, apartments.com, Facebook Marketplace, etc. We work with landlords, private, big box, maybe smaller but not super large. And we basically have this massive inventory of all of these places, and we send everything to clients that work for them, right? Their budget, pets, area, etc. And then we help break down all of the other pieces of it too. Do I have to pay a security deposit? What are the fees, the move-in, all of that other things. We kind of help consolidate that into one go-about and say, hey, let's go see a bunch of stuff, and I'll give you all the details once we pick your top 3 spots that you love. And I feel a big thing that we talk about too with clients, it's different in state by state, is security deposits and move-in fees. And that's a big one because that's a big expense when you're renting, right? Putting down a first month's rent and a security deposit is a lot of money sometimes. But not everyone in Chicago takes security deposits, do they, Zach?
No.
Tell us more.
Oh my God. Let's just call it, there's a bunch of laws, or a series of them in Chicago, that basically make it really expensive and not as nice
organized
for landlords to take security deposits. And so if you're a larger landlord with like 80 something units or 50 something units, it's just not worth it to you to take those security deposits when a move-in fee can basically cover your upfront costs of turnover, and maybe even if you're on a massive scale for them, it'll cover some other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So
typically move-in fees range anywhere between $300 to up to like $600 if it's a bigger apartment, right? And that's non-refundable usually because that's what you're paying for them to turn it over when you leave, essentially. And the last person that lived there before you paid the same exact fee to make it painted and cleaned and everything before you to come in. But I feel like that's a big discrepancy always whenever we have clients. It's like, well, why am I not paying a security deposit and why am I paying this non-refundable move-in fee? And that is why.
yeah, I mean, it's all about like the turnover and the upkeep, and you got to think that at a certain point you want to live in a nice apartment. Hopefully those funds, they're going towards upkeeping all the apartment and making it nice for the next person or for yourself if you're moving in. And it's just kind of the cost of doing business, the barrier to entry, whatever you want to call it. But
I like to tell
hopefully
clients,
we like to make it a lot easier that way.
Well, yeah, I always tell clients, right, like if you want to put things in the wall, put things in the wall. You can't be, getting drunk and falling into your wall and causing damage in that way. But the reason
Have you ever done that?
No. I mean, I've definitely done a couple other things, but not fallen into my wall. Have you fallen into a wall?
I've fallen out of, well,
Let's
just leave that alone. Okay, let's just leave that alone.
But that's, I feel like, a big piece of renting is always the fees, security deposit, all that fun stuff. It's always the boring stuff, but it also matters when it comes to moving somewhere because you have to pay it. You cannot move in without paying either of those things.
I feel like we have to, unfortunately, talk about like the double whammy, like the knockout punch piece, like that everyone kind of gets hit with, and they're like, what? The first one's rent.
Yes. The whole dreaded, people think we're trying to scheme them into taking their money, which does happen. But we don't do that because we're classy folks here. We do not scheme. Check out our Google reviews. We are legit. First month's rent is almost always due when you apply to something because it's essentially preventing other landlords or other clients from applying to different units. So if you want to, if you put down first month's rent, means you really want this apartment, and if you're approved, that goes towards your first month's rent, and you're done. And we're not putting down first month's rent on 8 different apartments because we don't want you applying to 8 different apartments because then the 7 that you don't choose have lost out on potential applicants who could have gone into that apartment. Yeah. So that's kind of like the landlord or owner's way of protecting themselves and making sure that you're not being shysty or they're not getting schemed.
Yeah. I would just go back to like my first example of moving here from St. Louis. Like back in St. Louis, like I could literally apply for 5 different apartments and it didn't cost me anything. Well, this is where like you've got a little bit of like, skin in the game there. Like you're invested in renting that one apartment. You got to figure that like every application that gets processed by a landlord is usually processed over anywhere between 24 to 3 to maybe even 5 business days, and to have that entire like business week essentially taken up by one application, only to then that applicant after a week tell you like,
never mind, I picked something else.
Bye,
Sucks
Felicia.
to be you. I know you lost out on 4 of the people that were interested, but I don't care.
And so like in that respect, they're
protecting themselves.
Yeah, exactly, like rightfully so. So just something that's definitely protection
is key.
Interesting.
That was a bad word.
It was a little bit weird, but
I'm sorry. Pivot.
I'm just gonna tell you, people, things might get a little bit weird from time to time here.
Like protection.
We're gonna get into some weird subjects maybe in the future. Real estate related, nothing, like everything protection. Above board.
I'm gonna keep saying the word protection.
Yeah, it's not helping. we didn't go through that. All right, so like let's just say for whatever reason, let's just say that the landlord's a jerk and like they decide to go with another applicant for some reason, or
that's a bad example because that would not happen. We wouldn't be at that. So, or we could say, how about you're denied because you. This happens all the time, right? You told me your credit is 700. It turns out it's 350. There's not much I can do when you lie to me about that. So if you're going to be denied based on something legit, that is a legitimate reason to deny someone is a very bad credit score. your rent is always fully
There you go, yeah.
refundable. Always, because that's can cause a lot of problems, and you could totally get sued for that.
Yeah.
Keeping a rent.
You can't take money for services that aren't rendered. So
Exactly. And we would never ever do that. So working with a broker, here's our plug, right? Working with us actually does expose you to more things that you're not going to find online that we actually may know of because we've been doing this for so long and we know our inventory so well. When you say, Zach, I really would love a 2-bedroom in the Gold Coast that's got a pool and I have a budget of $4,000, Zach knows the Gold Coast like the back of his hand and probably can show you 8 places that fit that mold. Versus yourself scrolling through and finding ads that aren't even accurate, things have been rented. We have up-to-date inventory that we can show you. That was a lot, but it's true.
I'll just, like, I guess I'm going to have to put in a plug for you too now, but like,
Don't. It's fine.
go to your local Lakeview Realtor right here.
Lakeview, Lincoln Square, North Center, Lincoln
Basically
Park.
the whole Chicago area. But like, in all reality, like what we mentioned, like first and foremost, like you need a realtor. You got 2 great ones standing in front of you right here.
Technically,
Well,
we're on
sitting-
the screen.
Okay,
But yes,
well, we're
in front of
sitting
your face.
On a
Or
couch.
in your ears.
Yeah. Yeah, just make sure you use a realtor. There's a lot of different ads and promotions and everything that's going on out there.
Wait! Our services are free.
I get paid a commission on the back end
You
by
don't
the
pay
property
for it.
manager.
As a client, you don't
Yeah.
pay for anything. We pay.
But I guess like just like it's way easier in other places to not use a realtor. Here you're actually at an advantage in using a realtor and letting that broker agent comb through everything, take the time, set up the showing. You got to work 9 to 5, and I don't know about you, but like when I come home from work, I don't want to work more, and so hire a broker, let them do all the work.
And you're not paying for it.
Yeah, expose you to more options than what you're just going to find on apartments.com or Trulia or Zillow
Or Facebook.
or Facebook or Domu. Still don't know what Domu actually stands for, what the initials are. Someone look that up for
Domicile.
me, DM it to me. I don't know.
Domicile.
Domicile. Okay. Anyways, hope that you'll listen, watch, subscribe,
All that fun stuff.
all that other good stuff. I swear in future production I'll have like little things that I point to and everything like that on the screen
Social
and
media.
hashtags and all that kind of good stuff. But
If you want to look at really cool or see really cool tips on Instagram about real estate, you should definitely follow Zach on Instagram. I don't have the really cool tips. I usually just post my dog and my cats, and then sometimes really cool homes when I'm touring. Actually, that's the lie. Not tips though, but I do show some really cool apartments on my Instagram.
her dog Molly's pretty cool though.
She has red hair like her mother.
Oh.
She gets it from me.
You set up way too many jokes right there. I'm just gonna keep my mouth to myself.
Protection domicile.
Out. This is Between Two Realtors. Watch next time. Bye.